Hello everyone, this is Pastor Rich Miller coming to you from the sound booth of the Victory Baptist Church in Atwater, California. I hope that you all are doing well today, and I pray that God is keeping you and your family safe during this coronavirus pandemic. Today I'd like to take just a few minutes to explain to you a new program that I mentioned to the people of our church during the church services yesterday. It's a program that I believe will help everyone to pray more faithfully and more fervently. In the book of Psalms, David wrote in Psalm 55 verses 16 through 17, "As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice." He mentions here in verse number 17 that there were 3 times in the day when he prayed to God, evening and morning and at noon. This new program that I want to introduce you to is all about praying, and praying more regularly than maybe we do right now. A lot of people pray. They pray in the morning before they go off to work. They might even pray before they go to bed at night. They pray for their meals and before they eat. But this is about praying more fervently and having a faithful time 3 times a day to pray. Just like David mentioned, evening, morning, and noon, I'd like to challenge people to have 3 times in the day when they pray. When they pray for the needs of others as well as their own needs. In 1 Corinthians, Paul was writing to the church at Corinth, and he wrote in chapter 14, verse number 40, "Let all things be done decently and in order." I want us to make sure that we understand that God is a God of order, and he wants things to be done decently, in a decent manner, and in an orderly fashion. With that being said, there are 3 things that I want to mention to you about this program today and encourage you to get involved in it. There are 3 steps, I guess you could say, to take today in preparation for this program that is officially kicking off today, but really will be in full force starting tomorrow. So let me take just a few minutes, if I could, to go over these 3 steps with you. The first thing that you need to do if you're going to be involved in this program is you need to pick times in the day when you're going to pray. Now, when I mention picking times in the day when you're going to pray, I'm talking about hours that you want to pray. Now, you don't have to pray for the whole hour. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 15 minutes. If you're able to pray for the whole hour, that would be great. But when I say picking hours in the day, I mean, for example, if you go off to work at 7 o'clock every morning, you might want to pick the hour from 6 to 7 to be your morning time. If you have a lunch break from noon to 1, you may want to pick that to be your noon or afternoon time. And if you have free time in the evening from 6 to 7, then that may be the time that you want to choose to pray. Once again, I'm not expecting people to pray for a whole hour, but if you're able to and God lays it on your heart, then I would encourage you to do that. The main thing is having 3 times throughout the day when you can pray, whether it's for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever time God lays on your heart. Now, with that being said, everybody has to customize this or personalize this according to their schedule. You also have to keep in mind your family. If you have children and you want to teach them to pray, you want to incorporate them in this program, then you may want to pick a time early in the morning for yourself, but then pick the time in the afternoon and the evening where your kids could be involved. Each day you want to have this time and make sure that you set reminders for yourself, whether it's writing it on a calendar or putting a post-it note on your refrigerator or setting an alarm on your phone, so that way you get in this habit of praying at those 3 times of the day. That's the first step, picking the 3 times that work best for you. The second step is to go ahead and prepare a list. Now, our church has a prayer bulletin that we hand out monthly, and many of you have it. If you don't, let me know. I'll get you a copy of it, and I'll try to upload it to our church website as soon as possible. The church website is www.vbcatwater.com. In the meantime, though, let me encourage you to prepare a list of your own a list with people's names on it who you know, but maybe other people in our church don't know. People like your family, your neighbors, co-workers, associates outside of work and outside of church that you are familiar with or hang out with. Write these people's names down on a separate list. Get a notebook and write their names down. And then take that church prayer bulletin and use that as well as we go through this program and as you are praying 3 times a day. The third and final step to this, as we're preparing to kick this off officially, is praying specifically. Now, what do I mean by praying specifically? I want you to pray for the people that are on your list, whether it's the family members that you write down or the missionaries that are listed on our prayer bulletin, but I don't want you to pray in a general way. I want you to pray in a specific manner. In other words, I don't want you to be praying, Lord, bless so-and-so, or Lord, meet so-and-so's needs. I want you to pray specifically, what does that person need? What could that person use prayer for? Now, to pray specifically, you're going to have to do some research. That means if you have a family member who you wrote down on your list, you're going to have to call them. Or if it's a friend, you may have to text them. If it's a church member, you may go by and visit them. Of course, remember social distancing and keep that in mind if you would. But go by and visit them and ask them, what can I pray for you about? If it's a missionary, you could email them and ask them what specific needs they have. And as we go through this program, Praying Purposefully, I want to encourage you to pray for the specific needs of those people that are on your personal prayer list and on the church prayer list. Pray for what they actually need. So these are the 3 steps that I want you to follow if you're going to be involved in this program. Let me go over them again with you real quickly. Number 1, pick your 3 times. Figure out today what those 3 times are going to be for you. What's going to work? Remember, you're picking 1-hour increments. So you may not always be able to pray at 7:35 a.m., but if you can pray between 7 and 8 a.m. at some point, then that's great. That can be your morning time. So pick 3 times to pray. Number 2, prepare a list. Have the church prayer list. That's great. But also prepare a personal list of your own. And then number 3, do some research so that you can pray specifically for the needs of those that are on your personal prayer list and the needs of those that are on the church prayer list. There's a lot that's going to be involved in this program because you're going to have to not only set aside time, you're going to have to put some effort into it. But I believe it's going to be very rewarding. I believe it will strengthen every person who gets involved in it. And so for that reason, I'm challenging every member of our church to be involved in this program. Many have already contacted me via text message and let me know that they are going to be involved, and they've already given me the times that they're going to be praying. And so I want you to know that I am writing your name down and I'm recording what hours you're planning on praying. So that way I can be encouraged as a pastor, and I can hopefully encourage you as we go through this process of learning to pray more fervently and faithfully for the needs of people in our world. Now, one last thing before I go. Every day I am going to try to make a video, and in that video give a Bible challenge of some sort about prayer, maybe share an illustration or share a quote, and then give you a people group that needs to be prayed for. For example, today originally we were planning on praying for missionaries and the missionaries that our church supports. Because I wanted to make sure that everything was being done decently and in order and that everyone was informed as to how this program was going to work, I decided to hold off on that. And so we're going to start praying for missionaries tomorrow. Today, just pray for whatever God lays on your heart, for whoever God lays on your heart, but remember to be praying specifically. Now, with that being said, tomorrow I'll come to you, hopefully a little bit earlier in the day than this, and share with you that challenge on prayer and that prayer group of missionaries so that you can start praying for these people. And I'll even maybe share a few missionaries' names that you can pray for specifically. In the meantime, please know that I'm praying for you and your family, and I hope that you're praying for my family and myself and for our church as a whole. that God would use this time to draw us close to Him, to shine the light of Jesus Christ to those around us, so that people can be saved and that lives can be changed. Until tomorrow, may God bless you, and I hope that you'll purpose to pray faithfully and fervently.